The auditorium was already shaking with cheers, but all of it felt muffled to the man standing alone behind the last row of seats, a janitor in a faded uniform, clutching a mop handle like it was the only thing keeping him upright. He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to be seen. Yet here he was, watching his twin girls walk across the graduation stage. And he had no idea that in less than a minute, a United States Marine Corps captain would lock eyes with him, notice the tattoo on his wrist, and freeze like she'd seen a ghost. If you're watching this, stay till the end, because this story will make you believe in sacrifice, second chances, and the kind of love only a parent can understand. And if it touches your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more stories like this. The janitor's name was Elias Grant, single dad, night shift cleaner, quiet man who kept his head down and his world small. Life had punched him more times than he could count. First came the accident that took his wife when the twins were only 4. Then came the medical bills. Then came the debts. And finally, the injury that ended the career nobody at this school knew he ever had. Because before the mop, before the stable but quiet job, before the exhaustion lived permanently under his eyes, Elias had been Sergeant Grant, Recon Marine. A man built for the front lines. A man whose loyalty cost him more than any civilian would ever understand. But today wasn't about him. It was about Mia and Morgan, his daughters, 2 brilliant, unstoppable girls who had fought through everything with him. He watched them take the stage, their caps decorated with glitter and tiny hand-painted phrases. For Dad. For Mom. His throat tightened, vision blurring. He wiped his eyes quickly so no one would notice. Parents filled the rows ahead of him, mothers with fancy cameras, fathers with expensive suits. Elias stood behind them in shoes that squeaked and a shirt washed so many times the color had surrendered years ago. He never complained. He never asked for a single seat closer. He never even dreamed of belonging there among them. He just wanted to see his girls smile. The ceremony ended. Students threw caps. Cameras flashed. Elias stepped back into the corner, letting families reunite. He was used to shadows. Shadows never judged. He unrolled the small trash bag on his cart, breathing slowly, waiting until the crowd thinned. That's when a voice, steady, sharp, authoritative, cut through the noise. "Excuse me, sir." He looked up. A woman in full USMC dress blue stood a few feet away. Rank glinting. Medals catching the stage lights. Captain Lena Hart. She stared at him, more specifically, at his wrist. Elias instinctively pulled his sleeve down, too late. The tattoo was already visible. A symbol not many Marines ever earned. A symbol even fewer survived long enough to wear. Her eyes widened. "That tattoo," she whispered. That's Recon Unit Echo." But Echo was wiped out during. Elias shook his head softly. "Ma'am, I'm just the janitor here." But she stepped closer, voice trembling, something fierce breaking under her formal tone. No, I know that Mark. My brother served in that unit. He talked about a Sergeant Grant. Said you saved." Elias cut her off gently, eyes dropping. "Captain, that was a lifetime ago." His heart started to race. He never talked about Echo. Never talked about the mission. Never talked about why the official records said he died, because for a while, Elias wished he had. But Lena wasn't backing down. "You're a decorated Marine," she whispered, disbelief and admiration mixing. "What are you doing sweeping floors?" He gave a tired smile, a smile filled with heartbreak, love, and the quiet pride of a father who had made impossible choices. "I'm raising my girls. That's the only mission that matters now." Before she could respond, the twins came running toward them, caps in hand, shouting, laughing, glowing with life. "Dad, we did it." They jumped into his arms. Elias hugged them so tightly he felt their hearts against his chest. Captain Hart watched, her breath catching as realization struck her. This man wasn't hiding from life. He was protecting it. Protecting the only thing that gave him a reason to wake up after everything he'd survived. Mia looked at the captain, confused. "Dad, who's she?" Lena smiled softly. "A hero. One your dad probably won't tell you about." Morgan laughed. "Our dad. A hero. Dad can't even beat us at Mario Kart." Elias rubbed his neck, embarrassed. "Girls, let's not bother the captain." But Lena ignored him. "Mr. Grant," She said loudly, clearly, proudly. It would be my honor to salute you. Before he could stop her, she stood straight, heels together, and delivered the sharpest military salute he had seen since the day he hung up the uniform. Students, parents, teachers, all turned. Gasps filled the air. The twins froze, eyes wide. And Elias felt something break open inside him, a part of himself he thought he had buried in the rubble of his old life. He didn't return the salute, not fully, not formally. But he placed his hand over his heart, and nodded. A silent acknowledgement. A thank you. A farewell to the life he once lived. And suddenly, the crowd applauded. Not for the captain. Not for the medals. But for the quiet janitor who had raised two brilliant girls while carrying the weight of scars no one could see. Later, the twins wrapped their arms around him as they walked out of the hall. Dad, Mia whispered, why didn't you ever tell us? He kissed the top of her head. Because your graduation means more to me than any battlefield I ever survived. Morgan squeezed his hand. We're proud of you, Dad. For everything, Mia added. Elias swallowed hard. For the first time in years, he didn't feel invisible. He felt whole. If this story moved you, if it reminded you of the quiet sacrifices parents make every single day, hit the like button. Subscribe for more emotional stories. And remember, heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes, they push a mop, stand in the back row, and love quietly with everything they have.